Daniel Bryan celebrating as the World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania 30 with thousands of fans cheering him. What a moment. What if I tell you that WWE, and some people think Vince McMahon, was not on board with the decision initially? I'm Kevin Kellam, and today we will discuss 5 times WWE was forced to make a superstar into a world champion.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Number 5, Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania 30 main event triumph will always go down as one of the all-time great moments in the history of pro wrestling. It was a perfect underdog story where the hero ended up prevailing with the championship. On screen, Bryan had to go through a lot of obstacles, but in reality, WWE officials reportedly didn't believe that Bryan was world championship material, despite the fact that he had won the world title in WWE before. No matter what, at the time, fans rejected Batista, who returned to Earth from guarding the galaxy at the time to win the Royal Rumble. Coupled with the somewhat controversial departure of CM Punk, this forced McMahon and WWE to change plans for WrestleMania 30, and as a result, Daniel Bryan ended up walking out with the World Championship. Now it's a whole different story. It was clear during his run as WWE Champion in 2018-2019 that WWE believed in the new, heelish Daniel Bryan. What adds to the feat of being heroic is how McMahon has always favored big, physical superstars to become champions, and Bryan winning it changed the mold for what that type of champion could be. The WWE Universe has a major part to play here, as crowds were vocal and said yes to Daniel Bryan, while WWE wasn't so sure. So plans change, and the fans said yes, WWE stopped saying no, and Daniel Bryan had his WrestleMania moment. Number 4, Kofi Kingston, WrestleMania 35. Sometimes when a superstar is so good, the moment is perfect, it's impossible to deny them. That was exactly what happened during February 2019 when the stars aligned for Kofi Kingston. Kingston's story was that of a hardworking, loyal employee who served the company well. He found championship success, but was clearly viewed as a superstar that simply wasn't good enough for the top of the card. By chance, Kofi Kingston replaced an injured Mustafa Ali at the Elimination Chamber on the road to WrestleMania and had stunning performances, building momentum, and the fans started to say it's Kofi's time. On screen, Vince McMahon played the foil to Kingston, with Daniel Bryan now referring to him as a B+ player. But wait, Daniel Bryan, you were a B+ player. Wow. People are just handing out grades here. The original plans, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, was to have Bryan face a returning Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Instead, fans changed that direction with Kingston's rise in popularity and a heartfelt story that forced McMahon to swap the plans and give Kofi the title at WrestleMania, along with a very special moment. Kofi Mania was born, history was made, and let's just forget how Kofi Kingston dropped the title to Brock Lesnar in 4 seconds on the SmackDown debut on Fox. Yeah, let's not think about that part. Number 3, Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 9. You're probably asking, why would Vince McMahon and WWE be forced to make one of the most decorated icons in pro wrestling history a world champion? Well, this case is a little bit different than the previous ones we've mentioned. Hulk Hogan had left the WWE in 1992 in the midst of a steroid scandal. As a result, Vince McMahon decided to push younger, fresher-faced superstars like Bret Hart to the top of the card. Hitman would walk into WrestleMania 9 as the WWE champion, taking on the rising fearsome foe that was Yokozuna. Hulk Hogan happened to be returning at this WrestleMania in a far less prominent position than we had seen him in before, where he teamed with his real-life best friend, cutting and strutting Brutus the Barber Beefcake in an unsuccessful tag team title challenge. Yeah, Hulkster doesn't walk out of WrestleMania without the gold, brother. Many wrestling insiders and fans have speculated that Hogan was only coming back to win the world title, and the tag team title loss earlier in the show was simply just a dodge. You were getting the Hogan must pose at the ending of WrestleMania, even if it meant Bret Hart was going to get a whole fistful of salt thrown in his eyes and Hulkster had to come down and save the day. Yeah, it resulted in one of the worst endings in WrestleMania history, where Yokozuna beat Bret Hart for the title and lost it to Hogan a few minutes later in just 22 seconds. Hogan was supposed to drop it to Bret Hart at SummerSlam in a passing of the torch style match, but he refused to do that reportedly, so he dropped it back to Yokozuna at King of the Ring that year and departed WWE for a very long time. Hogan was one of the few wrestlers that garnered the status that was bigger than the industry itself. He dictated ticket sales, pay-per-views, merchandise, and WWE was technically in no position to challenge the red and yellow demigod that they had created. I mean, come on, the guy was in Thunder in Paradise. Thunder in Paradise. Look up the show. Number 2, Mick Foley, SummerSlam 1999. This is another rather different, bizarre case where politics, literally politics, influenced the outcome of a match. At SummerSlam 1999, Stone Cold Steve Austin defended the WWE Championship against Triple H and Mankind in a triple threat match. Now add the special guest referee was none other than WWE personality turned politician governor of Minnesota, Jesse the Body Ventura. That plan was for Triple H to go over and win his first world title. There was only 2 big problems. One, Jesse Ventura, as a politician in office at the time, didn't want to raise the hand of a villain at the end of the show. Secondly, Stone Cold Steve Austin refused to put Triple H over at the time, reportedly because he didn't think Trips was ready for that level just yet.
You can't stop a mud hole in me and walk it dry if you can't fill my boots, son. Hell no, Paul.
Due to this, WWE was forced to give in and instead put the title on the babyface, Mankind, Mick Foley. Foley did drop the title to Triple H the following night on Monday Night Raw. This was another example of the Attitude Era forcing big-time changes by WWE to continue their success over WCW. They tweaked a lot of results to appease fans and bringing the necessary eyeballs to exceed in the Monday Night Wars. Number 1. Rey Mysterio, WrestleMania 22. Following the tragic death of Eddie Guerrero in 2005, nobody on television honored him in the way that Rey Mysterio did. Wearing an EG armband throughout the time, fans increasingly desire to see Mysterio succeed and become a world heavyweight champion. Not only the fans, but everybody backstage, from the talent to officials, believed the moment was right for Mysterio to win the title. The only problem is, reportedly, Vince McMahon was not feeling this plan. He was dead set against Mysterio becoming the world champion, but eventually gave in to the pressure from everyone else. Court Bauer, who served on WWE Creative at the time, said this: "Everybody in Creative wanted Rey to be the champion except Vince McMahon. Vince kind of gave in, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna make him a champion, but this is the date that we are going to take the belt off." So they were thinking to themselves, oh good, we'll just make him as strong as we can up to that date. It certainly felt and still feels like an injustice to Rey Mysterio, and it was seen as a short title reign that allowed him to accomplish next to nothing. At least he still got his WrestleMania moment in Chicago, one of the greatest wrestling cities in the world. I saw the match live where Mysterio defeated Kurt Angle and Randy Orton in a small but thrilling contest. Seek it out on the WWE Network or on Peacock. What did you think of our list? Did you disagree, or are you totally on board with it? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling here on YouTube or wherever you're getting it. And remember, when watching wrestling, enjoy wrestling.